Welcome
to
the 4th episode of this podcast.
Welcome.
Let's just pretend, that that didn't happen. For the people who are only listening to this, it's better that you don't see what's going on. I like how you are like. I love that. Humbling.
Don't want to be
Keep
mean.
it humble.
Yeah, that's something I've
humble.
never been humble.
Yes.
Okay.
It's giving Leo vibes.
Are you like influence?
Yeah.
Are you like influence?
Yeah. I'm vlogging. We need to get something out of the way, okay?
Yeah.
So, Jan is a Leo.
Oh, right.
And
Vicky
Jan-
is
There we go.
What?
Here we go
were
with
you
the
gonna say,
astrology
Vicky?
stuff.
What were you gonna say?
I wanted to say that Jan broke up with her.
Oh, yeah.
Jan broke up with
Since
the
the
AI.
last
the Gugul.
episode,
Yeah.
since the last episode, I've broken up with
Something.
Google.
And that's why he
Something
took.
came up.
That's why he.
That's
why he took his shirt
yeah.
off for this
Yeah.
episode.
Because
But
now
I mean, this
he's
is a week
officially
later.
searching
This is-
for
Yeah,
a
it's
new
a
one.
week later.
Basically,
yes.
last week we talked about Google, my new girlfriend, who now is my ex. So I'm back on the market. So
So
Yes,
yeah,
please.
and if you're wondering, if you're
comment.
watching this and you see that we're wearing the same clothes, just don't ask. We're characters, okay? We're characters in a animated series. That's
yeah,
why
you
we have
guys
the
are
same
Mr.
outfit.
Bean, basically.
No, but you know what? We should actually create a content out of Jan. We should. You should.
What?
Product,
we
or
should-
what do you mean?
Some content out of Jan.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do with him? Let's think about
Let's come up with a competition. So all the girls, like,
it's again
please,
The Bachelor.
girls who
This is
who
the
are
Bachelor.
interested.
Part
This is the
in
Bachelor
Jan.
Part 2, yes.
So step first, you go follow us, subscribe, and like every picture, and then
and share it on
and then
your Instagram story.
the last one, yes, you comment. And when you comment, you write a few other options like girls that you
Oh my God.
and then you share it on your stories.
Yes.
And then we look
And then-
at everyone, and me and Daria, not Jan, me and Daria, we decide which girl can have a chance to actually meet up with Jan in
With
real
us.
life.
Not with
Maybe
Jan.
with us first, because it's like an interview,
Yes.
because we are very picky, and it's really hard to be part of our
Whatever that
it
is.
is.
Whatever that was.
So you will find out. But hey,
it was true, everything I said.
Jan is a Leo, so I don't know. Do with that what you will.
I am fiery.
Vicky is a Gemini and I'm an Aries, so that's why the vibes are really chaotic for sure. That's why.
I wanted
Because
also
of you
to
two?
listen to
What?
comment
Or
about
because
me.
of us three.
Yeah, it's a mix of all the things.
Wow,
Okay.
how would you describe Gemini?
It's just you. You're the most Gemini person I've ever met, and I love
I
that.
want to be unique.
Okay, sorry. You are the most unique Gemini person ever. Actually, you are the first Gemini to ever exist. So, just so everyone knows, okay?
Yeah, she's like 5,000 years old. So.
Yes. She's calculating.
No, actually,
right.
Time to connect
millions
that
of years
with,
old.
with being
No.
a vampire.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
With the
right.
A
fact
Gemini
that
vampire. Oh God,
Yes.
that's
Oh,
we're
God.
getting into werewolf vibes again.
Yeah, exactly.
Into-
What about you? What about your sign?
I said I'm an Aries.
I know, but how would you describe it?
Well, I would say that I am pretty much. I mean, my traits, my personality does match the description of Aries. So I'm like kind of stubborn, and definitely I have a short temper, and I'm also really sensitive. Actually, a lot of people think that Aries are very like tough, and they can appear very tough on the outside. Like, definitely want to appear like they have a tough shell, but actually they're the most sensitive inside, and they're very soft. So I would say it's pretty true. Also, they like
So
to
take advantage of them.
Yeah, it's actually quite easy. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
Speaking from
you're
personal
the
experience.
the sweetest girl I know.
Aw, you
One
too.
of the most sweetest.
Oh, you too.
Thank you.
And yeah, but Gemini, I love Gemini girls, especially Vicky. She is the best Gemini. Okay, she's the most unique and best Gemini. But I think they're just Gemini guys. I don't want to hear anything about them. But Gemini girls I love because they're just so, one moment they're very deep and they're very like, let's talk about serious thing, and the other they're just like, yeah, let's go dancing, let's go do this, let's go talk to 500 people at the same time and run around. So
That's what I do.
yeah. So I think it's definitely that vibe and very creative for sure. But yeah, fire and air signs together, it's always going to be a match. Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
What about Jan?
Yeah.
Um
No. You guys hate me because I am a Leo.
well, no. I
You're
mean,
sweet.
Leo's no, but Leo guys, I mean, I don't know that much. I don't think I know that many other Leo guys. I love Leo girls because I think, well, any fire signs I actually will always get along with. But I guess, well, Leos can sometimes come across as kind of strong, of course, and fiery and also very passionate. But some people, I guess, can also think that they are maybe very self-centered and love to be the center of attention. But I feel like Jan doesn't really specifically love to be the center of attention, or I can't.
I think he likes, and I want.
I think he loves.
Yes, and I want him to want it more. I feel like you're too
Yeah.
humble. I think you know what you want, and I just
Yeah, you definitely
just go for it. Post more.
Yeah, I feel like Jan is not the
And,
typical Leo,
be-
actually.
I think he's just not there yet, but he's coming.
Yeah,
Out.
soon he'll
I'm
become a
becoming
lion.
awful.
Yeah.
No.
Self-centered.
That's not
Yeah,
awful.
thank you,
It's
thank you.
good.
No,
Go
Leos
ahead,
are nice.
go
They're
ahead.
go-getters, and they. I'm sure they
Usually
have a
they're
good
very
grip.
handsome, I think.
Yeah, they have a good
guys.
grip on their future and on their life, and they're very good leaders. Also, like all fire signs, especially Aries and Leos, are very good leaders usually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we're really
you are.
lit.
You are.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, that was just like 40 minutes of us talking, but I feel like I was thinking, okay, we mentioned astrology, and it's fun, and
Yeah.
we haven't even
No,
said
we're,
our signs.
we're revisiting the first episode.
Yeah, honestly,
in
I feel
this-
like we
in
are.
This episode.
It's also even more
We're just-
chaotic because
yeah.
we're tired, I feel
Yeah.
like. But yeah, today,
You're hungry.
hungry, yes.
Yes.
So we just wanted to kind of continue about the topic of how our art has evolved throughout the years and when we kind of started taking art seriously, because in the second episode, we talked more about how we were as kids and how creativity showed up for us. And, so if you haven't listened to that yet, then go listen. So I would say, actually, it's a very sweet story. So I was like Jan also, I was in this art and music high school, but I was actually in the music class because my mom is a musician and so on. I grew up with music, and I also was in the choir for I think 10 years, and I stopped when I graduated high school. So music has always been a big part of my life, but I never felt like like it's something that I would want to do as a profession or as a career, because it's just I actually don't really like to be in the spotlight, and I think it's just a lot. So for me, something else felt more suitable. And at that point, I started to get interested in art again and actually take more of the art classes rather than the music classes. But when you're in a art and music high school, you have to take like almost all the courses that they have from art and music. So I did that, luckily, because I didn't have to take other stupid subjects that I wasn't interested in. So I was in my third year in high school, and that's when I kind of started to realize, like, okay, I should keep going with this. And actually, my art teacher in my old high school, she told me, like, you should keep going and you should really continue with this. And I'm sure that
That's
you'll
nice.
make. Yeah, it was amazing. It was like the first person somehow that told me this and validated my skills, I guess. And I remember when I was almost done with high school, I did my art diploma, and I told her, like, maybe I will come and do like a practical training here after. Maybe I can come and assist you. And she's like, oh, you won't be here anymore by that point. You'll be far. You won't be here anymore. And I was like, really? And it's so cool because she was very helpful and she was very sweet and she helped me to see my potential. But I was still a bit iffy, and I kind of started painting again, and I really started to like it. And at the point when me and Axeli met, I told him that I have this interest, but I'm feeling a bit insecure about it. And then he was like, okay, show me some stuff. And I showed him some paintings, and he was so nice about it. And he said that he really sees something in them. And then he told me, actually, my grandpa is an artist. He's a painter and sculptor. If you want, I can ask him what he thinks. And that was so nice. And he told me, like, yeah, you should keep doing art. You shouldn't give it up, because at that point, before I was graduating high school, I was already thinking about maybe moving abroad and studying criminology, which it's also very interesting. Or something else. I think it was criminology or theology, which is crazy. Okay. But I was actually interested in the history of different religions. So, yeah, so that's where I was at. I was ready to give up art or keep it as a hobby more. And so I would say that Axeli really helped me also. And he told me that I should keep going and I should follow this dream. And he really gave me the push that I needed, I think. So I'm really grateful to him for that. And so basically, yeah, then I started to think, okay, I'm going to apply to art schools. Yeah. What about you guys?
Beautiful.
Yeah. Do you want to go first?
I don't know. I can go. Or do you want to?
Go ahead.
Well, as I told previously, when I was 11, I went to this children art school. And in Russia, it's actually like, it's considered to be a second school. So even though I was only 11, but the school was like every week, I think 4 or 3 times per week. And it was like 3.5 hours like lessons, and we actually had there like composition, drawing, painting, and also we had sculpture and history of art. So it was pretty serious, and actually there I learned all the basics, and I know something about academical art, like traditional art, and actually I think art
history and stuff.
Yeah, I got a good academical base also, like in terms of drawing, and like composition and color theory learning. And so it was pretty serious because we had exams there, and like, yeah, so it was a lot, especially this history of art exam. I actually had to learn a lot, and it took me, I think, 4 years or 5, I don't remember, something like that. But after that, I think in the end of the school, I was about to drop out from it, because I was like, well, it's kind of nice, but I feel like because I know too many rules, I cannot be free anymore as I used to be as a child, even though I find it very helpful. And I know that every artist probably, not every artist must go through that, but I feel like many people need that. Who are working in creative industries, they really need that good base,
Yeah.
But then I just realized that maybe it's not art is something that I don't want to do anymore that much. And after I graduated from that school, I kind of stopped doing I just stopped painting and drawing at home, like at all. And I also wanted to become an oceanologist, or a biologist, and I even was preparing my final exams in those fields. And it was crazy to me that I'm not going to work in that industry anymore, but I was fine with that. But somehow when I was also in high school, I felt again this desire to to just, I just wanted to do something creative. And that was like really amazing story, because I wanted to find a teacher or someone to help me, like to guide me, like what to do, how to get back to drawing. And like accidentally we were attending, like our friends from Italy came to my hometown, and we went to see that one exhibition that appeared to be an exhibition from Italy, and there were like some artists, like artist collaboration from like a Russian artist and Italian artist. And there I found one of the artists was there, and I just like talked to her because her works were there, and she looked amazing. She's a Karelian artist, and somehow I just mentioned that, I am actually like so curious about, getting back to the art field. And she was like, yeah, I have a studio, like, don't you want to just come there someday and just, we can talk. She was very nice, very, very sweet, and very, I really loved her works. And somehow I really came to her studio one day and we talked, and she was like, yeah, like, oh, take this paper, take this like watercolors. And we just I just started to work with her like once a week, I think. But I would just come to her studio and she would just give me some tasks that were some of them were also very traditional, but some of them were really, I think she helped me mentally because I was so insecure about getting back to the art, and I felt like, my hands are not the same anymore, I don't have the same skill. And she was very helpful. She was like incredibly, somehow she always would compliment my works and my skills, and I would always tell her like, hey, I'm actually not going to work in that industry. But then in the end, somehow she was like, well, actually, I think you should try to go back. Like, actually, okay. she told me like, actually, I feel like, well, I know that you are into dogs, because back then I was like, also telling her stories about forests and dogs. And she was like, I know you are like so much into it, but you can connect those things. You can mix them together.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. That's so needed.
Yes. Yes, and she just
that's really great.
And she just somehow suggested me, and actually I started thinking about actually going to a university that would have something creative. But then I just moved to Finland, and of course all my dreams about being an oceanologist or like biologist, they were gone, just because in a new country you have to learn the language first something. And my English wasn't that well. My English is still bad, but it was worse. And so when I moved to Finland, I just went to this vocational school that was it was visual art school, and I went there first, and then I got again back to the forest and nature and studied to become nature and wilderness guide, and then I felt again this desire to go back to art. And now I finally feel like, okay, if my life tried to turn me into art like so many times, like I should not just go against it, and I just should accept that maybe this is something that is really important, like,
it's
and meaningful.
Destiny.
It's my destiny.
It's a brave thing to do. I know it can be really difficult for many, because your art will always be kind of an extension of who you are. Yeah. And of course it's a very vulnerable thing to do. But also I think what is great, that you don't have to choose one profession. Exactly. You can always combine them. No matter what it is, like you can always combine. 100%. Because I feel like you are doing that. I mean, just thinking about your thesis topic, you are doing that. And isn't that amazing that you will get to implement all of your skills that you have into this one thing, but also get to create an artwork? And there are no, like, try to break out of the specific rules. Like, art doesn't need to be only one thing. It can be many different things.
Yeah, there are no limitations. Actually, you're very free to choose. Like, it's so, like, amazing and inspiring that there are, like, a myriad of options. You just like
Definitely.
you just have to know what you want. Don't necessarily like something, you know, very specific, but just like go and do something.
Be curious and be brave.
Yeah. Oh, that's inspiring. Gosh.
Okay,
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, now that you were talking about kind of drive and motivation sort of there, I just recently, like a few years ago, realized that like what drive and motivation are and how they kind of have a difference, and like, or passion and drive are, I think, pretty similar things. So basically I thought that you need to have motivation every time you make art. So that was something that, like, I had sort of an on and off relationship with art because of that, or making art because of that. So I didn't really like I wasn't able to focus on making what I like, but it was more like, oh, I see something online, or I see something in a gallery and then I get inspired, or I see a movie and then I get inspired, and that's how I get the drive. Of course, it wasn't the drive, but it was motivation that made me make my own version of that thing. So I think that's what ultimately made me less productive. Is at first, when I was a kid, I would always, like, almost every day, you know, draw something. And that's something that I've sort of lost on the way. And I'm trying to get back into it every once in a while to get that routine going, where I'm not really thinking of everything has to be perfect, or I need to make all of my drawings like really high quality and something that I like. But instead I just try and sketch as much as I can, and if a sketch looks a bit better, or it has an idea that is more high quality, then I will, you know, go on with it and make it something more, or finish it, or whatever. But yeah, I think
Can I add something about that? Because I also was a bit worried. Like, also when I was a child, I used to produce, I don't know, drawings every day, multiple times per day, actually. But, and I was worried, like, oh, why can't I do the same, you know, now? Why can't I be that productive? Or why can't I enjoy doing art that much? But I also talked with my therapist, and apparently back then the thing that I have, the relationship with art that I have, it all was about coping mechanism, actually. So I think for many kids, it's one of the best coping mechanisms. It's so much easier to kind of start, like, instead of talking about your feelings, you know, it's easier for a child to just go and draw it. Like, it doesn't mean that the kid has to like actually like paint or draw the topics that are bothering him or her, but it's really it's very, very common in, you know, kids.
It's a great tool, actually. It's something really amazing if a child somehow subconsciously realizes to do that. I think it's very good. Of course, it shows something about creativity, but it also shows something about self-awareness, which I think is really great.
But that's why I felt really sad, because so many artists are actually, like, when they go to therapy and they work with their traumas, they realized that art was just a tool to cope, and they stopped doing art at
Okay.
all, just because like there is no need for them to to, because they use their traumas also as a part of like their inspiration kind of thing,
Right.
and they don't need it anymore. And I think at some point I also had this type of thing, and I was like, oh, like I don't understand, I don't want to be inspired by traumas and depression and things like that. And I also, I think, reached certain limits there. But now again, I just aware of the fact that people are different, and it's okay to also, produce sad music, for example. Some people need it, and it's also not. It doesn't mean that you are a very like you are depressed if your art is depressed, or you're using topics that are very sad or like touching. So it's really depends on everyone, I would say.
I think that that's also one of the like issues that I've had, is that often, like, when I would hear about what an artist is actually talking about with their work, or when we would have different lectures about or lessons about what symbolism is, or what meaning is, and so on, I would feel like, oh well, I'm really young, so I don't have that much experience in things, like in general. So I kind of feel sometimes that it's not really sort of like I don't have stories to tell, or I don't have, huge problems that other artists might have. So it's sometimes really feels like I'm just faking it or whatever.
No.
But I know that, like, it's also like creating stories is about like talking about those issues, and it doesn't have to be you that is experiencing those issues.
But
and
it's
so on.
also even when you just create something for the sake of creating, or even your comics, I mean, even if you have, in a way, you're making up a story, you're constructing the story yourself, but even that has elements from you that are coming from the subconscious mind, which I think is the most interesting thing about artists, is that most of the things are coming from our subconscious side.
And also I think that not every piece of art should be that meaningful and should have a certain meaning.
But it's just a feeling that I have, It's not that I actually think that, but I just have that feeling of, oh, am I just boring if I I try to make this kind of artwork? But
and also I think you always can find your own audience, because some people don't like, like we are all very, very different. So don't compare yourself to anyone. And I think it's, I don't know, like I said last time, my attitude to very dramatic art and things. So it's just not my cup of tea. And it doesn't mean that dramatic movies or books are bad. It just means that they're not for me. And
that can change also over time, and that's fine. You have to leave room for change, and also for evolving, because it's very interesting, like we talked about last time too, but I've had kind of the same topic since I was a child. All my interests have stayed the same. I've just changed the way in which I process them, and also the way in which I present them. I started with drawings, and then photography, and then painting and photography, and now I have switched it up a bit, and I've been doing mostly self-portraits and also some experimental short films and stuff like this. And I have found it's all about exploring and evolving, because I feel like as an artist, if you're not curious, and if you don't find different ways to do things, like then you're not evolving. So I feel like that's very important, because you can still approach the same subject, but you can approach it in very different ways. So to me, that's really interesting.
But I think also it's beautiful to to pay attention to the topics you enjoyed, you know, doing as a child, because they actually shows what is what you like, you know, because as kids kids are very free and they can decide what they like.
When I was a kid, I was really interested in different kinds of fantasy movies like Pirates of the Caribbean, and Lord of the Rings, and Harry Potter.
Batman.
Yes, Batman movies as well, and Narnia, Chronicles of Narnia. And whenever my parents would get me DVDs, they would sometimes have the second DVD, you know, where the extras were. And those were the ones that I would like watch and rewatch and rewatch. And I was so interested in how to make movies. I remember watching the extras for Star Wars, the New Hope, so the original Star Wars, and it was so cool that they made everything from scratch, basically. So that's kind of why I wanted to be like an actor and a director and a writer and everything. And then at some point, I think it was like I watched Troy, you know, that movie with Brad Pitt and Eric Bana, and Orlando Bloom, and so on. So after watching that, I took some paper and I started like drawing a comic, and it was my first comic book.
So
and
adorable.
it was just like there was a guy and then a woman, and then there was like this this big guy who like had all kinds of piercings and everything, and
Bobby.
It's Jan, Bobby, and
basically
the AI girl.
yes, and it was basically the normal looking guy. He just like you know, fights with the brute or whatever, the big guy who has like a bunch of piercings, and then I think at some point like the guy like slashes his the big guy's head off, and at the same time the guy gets like an arrow in his stomach.
How old were
or
you when
something.
you made the first
I think
comic?
I was 7 or 8.
Okay, that's so...
Yeah.
Oh, I can imagine little Jan just like being
Yeah.
so focused and
Yeah,
drawing
yeah.
these,
I can
kind of
also imagine.
constructing a play. And what's very interesting is that, because of course, like, I mean, I've also had the interest of films and movies and animated series since I was also really young. And it's interesting that we have a different approach to it, because I feel like for you, the constructing the scene and the play and kind of the script is like such a big part of it.
It is.
And
it
for
is.
me, has always been like images and colors and light and movement and kind of saying things without using words and using cinema for that.
Well,
Yeah.
isn't that wonderful that
It's amazing,
you
yeah.
actually now, like, you know, you're moving
Yes.
Yes.
It is.
towards
It is.
Yeah.
towards
Yeah.
your dreams, because I
Yeah.
know that Jan is interested in kind of acting,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
which I think you should definitely
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
And Daria is also doing, you know, wants to work in this
Movie industry.
yeah, which is great. And I, as a child, I wasn't interested in films that much, but I was interested in nature and animals, and I think for me, I was like, my interest in music wasn't supported that much, so I still feel that desire. Like, I don't know, I have to connect my life to music somehow, or I have to learn how to play some, I don't know, instruments. Maybe later
Why
on
not?
I will.
Go for it.
Yeah, I will for sure. Or yeah, that's why I actually love working with musicians, like, yeah, taking some
But
photos with them.
imagine like just being a band's photographer or something. you can just go on, trips with them, photograph them, document them. I mean, I feel like that could be something that you would really
I would
enjoy.
want that, maybe, but also I have a dog. I cannot just go on a tour with with any band. But that is an option. I could do that also.
Yeah, but
fun.
and at the same time that I was doing that, I was also like taking piano lessons, and that lasted for like 10 years, around 10 years, that I like actually studied piano at a like conservatory. First in Hungary for 4 years, and then we came over to Finland, and it was around the time when I was like 17, I think, that I stopped playing piano at the conservatory, and I was like, oh, I wanna focus more on making like art. But then at the same time, I basically slowly stopped making art, like, because I was like, oh, this is not gonna be something that I can, sustain myself with. So I think it's actually been only I had the like military in between, and then I applied to TAMK, and even when I was in TAMK already, I was like not sure if I actually want to do this for work, and especially because I didn't realize that this was a more contemporary art kind of a degree. So I thought that it would be more theoretical and more like academical art, which it wasn't. So basically I then slowly was like, okay, I'm just gonna do what I like to do. And then I started playing more piano again, and then I also started doing art that I actually like, and I started doing illustrations, comics, and all kinds of like I even we had the moving image minor, which is basically like where we make films and video artwork. So there I basically made something that was, at first it didn't feel like it's my thing, but at some point I realized that it's actually so so closely my thing. And then Victoria started hating me because
What? Sorry?
because she was the cinematographer on the same project.
Wow.
And me and Bobby would be so excited about the whole project that
I get it.
we would want to do more all the time.
Vicky.
So yeah,
I
exactly.
was really, I was mad at both of you just because you wanted to put like your story was like a movie story, it's like
a Hollywood
movie for like, I don't know, 2
Gotta
hours.
dream big.
2 hours movie, and then you wanted to like me to film it in 10 minutes, okay, the whole story, like skipping all the like, it's like
5 minutes. 5
if you
minutes.
would put a Hollywood movie in TikTok, in this 15 seconds video, that's what you wanted. That of course I was mad at you because it's impossible.
Hey, you guys would have needed a producer.
Yeah.
So hit me up next time.
Yeah.
But I was really pleased with what we got, and I feel like Victoria did a really good job. Like, this was actually like a zero budget movie.
Yeah,
and
you
like,
guys did really well.
Yeah, we shot for like 3 months, and it wasn't like, we really didn't know that it would be this good, but a big part of it was Vicky. Like, actually a big part of it was Vicky, and like, of course, like I also worked a lot on making this happen. Like, again, going back to where I started, where I wanted to be the director, the writer, the actor. Now I was also
you did
the
it.
I was
Yes.
also the composer, the editor.
Yes.
You know, I was
Yeah.
doing
But
a lot of different jobs.
101.
The great
Yeah.
thing about being an artist is that you can be all those things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So I
You
would say
can
that actually you
decide.
chose the right school.
Yeah,
Somehow
And-
you knew
yeah.
deep down that this would be right for you,
Yeah.
I think.
yeah, in a way, yeah.
I felt that way for sure.
Yeah.
So,
So music.
all right. So we already kind of touched on this topic before, but actually someone suggested that we talk about music. Well,
I love that someone
I
suggested.
don't remember who it was. So sorry.
Shout out to Billy,
Okay. Yes.
my Willy boy.
Willy boy.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you for telling us to talk about that, because I think we're
Yes.
all very passionate about music.
Yes.
And
But we are
Yeah.
passionate in a very superficial level, I would say.
yeah,
we're not
like
gonna,
we're not musicians
gonna
or
talk
anything.
about
Theory or
yeah,
don't
theory or-
expect any, just we're enthusiasts. We
Yes.
enjoy music. I mean, I grew up with music and musicians and so on, so I know a lot of things, I've seen a lot of things, and it's definitely a chaotic environment. Like, musicians are, sorry for any musicians watching this, but damn, like, you guys are so difficult sometimes. Like, now I get in all the movies and stuff when the agents and the managers are saying, like, if it wasn't for us, like, there would be no music coming out, because I and with artists too, I think that's very accurate. So behind a great musician or an artist, I think there needs to be like a person who can be organized and schedule things and tell them, like, hey, you have to record now, or you have
Yeah.
to go on tour and stuff like this. But
Yeah.
so what kind of, I mean, I obviously I know what kind of music you guys listen to, but what is, like, I would say, your current favorite genre that you like to listen to?
Genre. That's
A genre.
that's a more difficult one. There's so many genres nowadays.
Or
that-
something lately that you've been enjoying.
Yeah, I mean Freddie Dredd, for sure.
It's your
yeah.
Nice.
Yo, let's not get copyrighted for
Yeah.
copyright strikes.
I'm
for
sure
this.
that
I'm
would
not that good.
that would be enough.
But yeah,
Can
I
we
would say
sing
no,
once?
no, we can't because we'll get
Just say
copyright strikes.
just say like the first little part. It's fine.
No. I'm too scared.
Okay.
She's scared. Yeah,
You
but
scared her.
Freddie Dredd, I
In your
would
back.
say like
Freddie
I've been
Dredd.
listening. I've been listening to a lot of classical music recently, as I have before as well. But recently,
Is it
I've-
because of like your piano lessons and being in the conservatory somehow that has influenced your taste in music?
Yeah, in a sense, but it's also, I mean, now that I'm only, learning by myself, all of the what is happening?
He's so bored. He's like, damn it, I'm hungry. I just want to go get McDonald's.
Okay, let's get through this. We can get
We
through
can
this.
do it, guys.
Okay, so I would say that classical music, I now that I'm learning by myself, I don't have a teacher to teach me, and kind of I think a lot of the frustration that went into learning with a teacher was that I had to be on point all the time. And now that I'm doing it by myself, it just comes naturally.
It's more fun.
I just practice all the time, and it's not like a chore, like it
that's
doesn't-
actually really nice, because
Yeah.
for me, definitely, like, being in a music high school and being in the choir, it was kind of a chore, and I felt like I just don't really enjoy it. And now, I mean, lately I haven't sang in since I graduated high school, so like 6 years. And I was thinking, like, maybe I should start singing again. Maybe I should. Why not? Because I just stopped. But I somehow just don't feel like it. So I kind of have accepted that, okay, maybe it's just not my thing. Maybe I think it's also because I've been feeling so pressured, my mom being a singer and all.
Yeah.
People would always ask me when I was a child, like, oh, are you gonna be a singer like your mom when you grow up? And then I would be like super grumpy, and I'd be really like, and I'll be like, no, I'm gonna be a dancer. So I just have always been that way. I never wanted to somehow do the same thing as my mom, which I think is actually really nice, because that means that I wanted to explore other things. But
I've also been trying to listen to some more new music, and like I can't remember any names or anything, but like one that I think Lana Del Rey's new single came out, right? That was pretty good.
It's a vibe. I'm waiting for the Lana comeback. I'm waiting for, when I hear some of her more old stuff incorporated in her new album. I'm waiting for that. But for me, I listen to all kinds of music. I don't have any specific favorites, but most recently I've been really loving like funky and I would say like disco music. I just love, somehow it just makes me feel so good. I love disco and funk. And also, of course, jazz. I've always loved jazz. But most recently disco and funky music. Yeah, it just puts me in a good mood. And that's like, I wish that there would be more clubs that would play this type of music and DJs that play this kind of like deep house or deep funk. Maybe the scene is not here yet in Tampere, but it would be really cool because I love that type of music. And it just, I don't know, it makes me feel like, it's me. So I think, but I listen to everything. It depends also on my mood.
Yeah, definitely depends on the mood. Like yesterday I just put on, It's Been a Long Time. Yeah, and I was just in the mood to listen to that sort of music, so I just let it play, and then there were like a lot of these older American songs, like sort of jazzy. It's not really jazz, but anyways, so that was pretty cool.
What about you, Vicky?
Like somehow
Vengeance.
music is it's such a sensitive topic. And usually when people ask me like what bands are you into, like what music, I feel kind of like very vulnerable, because to me, when I ask the same questions, like I can understand, like I can analyze the person by their music choice, and to me it's very personal, like because like it says a lot about you. But I also listen to pretty much everything and I love it, but I don't know, it depends on my mood. But recently I've been into like drum and bass, and
it's actually, so you.
Yes, and I'm like vibing, or like, when I'm, even today, actually I was late just because I was dancing in my shower.
Oh, such a main character moment.
Listening to drum and bass, and I was like, I was vibing. I was like, oh fuck.
It's fine, you can say it.
I was like, oh okay. Damn it. I can
bleep.
Yes, and I'm listening to music, like just like I'm constantly listening to music. And I think my dog is really annoyed, but I think also she likes it. But yeah, so I just like go. Usually it's something that makes me feel, energetic and cool. And if it's something like, I'm just like, yeah. And
puts you in a good vibe.
Yeah. Also, I have like different playlists. Sometimes when I feel like crying, I also have a cry playlist on Spotify. And then like there are all these like, very, very like dramatic songs like about, heartbroken guys, or like love, like all these things. And then I'm just like, oh God,
I feel the pain.
I feel you.
Actually, guys, me and Vicky, we love to listen to The Weeknd together.
Yes,
it's our vibe.
Actually, yes, when we are driving with the we are listening to The Weeknd, and with Jan we are listening to Post Malone or Freddie Dredd
or
Vengeance. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Open
so
the
these
door.
are our...
Oh no, I can't.
Open the door.
No.
Oh, it's fine. Yeah, and we also really like to go dancing. We actually, when we say we like to go clubbing, we don't mean like, oh my God, guys, let's go clubbing and drink shots and wear like
I mean, that's part of it.
that's
But-
part
Yeah,
of it.
actually
But
dancing
it's
there,
not,
like
yeah. But-
crazy.
Yeah, but we actually love to go there to just dance. Like every time after the day is over, we can be there for like 3 hours and then we have like 20,000 steps
Yeah.
made. So it's a good cardio, but it depends if the music is good, of
No,
course.
you're there for 3
Or I
hours.
think
We're
we're
there for
there-
8
okay.
hours.
It's not always
Actually,
true.
Yes, or when we are going on raves, I think I'm actually usually
Yeah,
the-
on raves, like
I'm like last
I-
time. Yeah, I left it
Yeah.
like at 6:30 or something.
no, if the music would be good. I'm not saying
Yeah,
that
yeah,
it's
yeah,
not. I
yeah.
wasn't there.
Yeah. Sometimes
Don't
it's
get me
not-
wrong.
Well, sometimes it's just
Yeah.
bad.
Hard
Yeah.
truth.
Yeah.
But no, like I really like raves also, but it just depends on the music because if it's the same like techno stuff like I'm like I just
Guys,
can't.
if
I'm
you're
sorry.
playing
Wait,
If you're
drum and
DJ,
bass, if you are good,
insert
hit me
music
up.
track.
Like no, I just cannot. I'm sorry, but that's not interesting to me.
No, but yeah, I actually want if you were playing drum and bass or something very cool.
Very cool only.
I wanna.
Then
I
text
wanna. Yeah,
And if you're
hit me
single.
up. No, not in that way. Like let's do
Collaborate.
some like
Oh, yeah.
photography project or like
that's
even
cool.
music video because I've been working on many music events, concerts, and
Yeah, she
days,
needs
and,
more. She needs more photography and video work.
Yes,
So
hit
if
her up
you have
for
money and you can
A
pay
lot of
her,
money.
then
A lot.
Then,
You have to
yeah,
pay her
or
a
if
lot.
you are very, very, very cool, then we can come up with another solution. I don't know.
Okay.
yeah, you can pay her in other ways. But yeah,
I mean, no, I mean, just collaborate.
Yeah,
yes,
it's fine. We get it. We get it.
Collaborate, yes,
But
Okay, this, any musician hit me up because I love musicians so much.
yeah,
so
Oh my
what
God,
do you?
oh my God.
yeah.
What do you guys like to hear the most in the club? I honestly, if I hear,
Drum and bass.
yeah,
I mean,
Skrillex.
whenever I hear
If I-
The Weeknd,
Yeah.
that's like a
it's
vibe.
yeah, definitely,
like
definitely.
in the club.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
also
it's like a
I love
vibe.
early 2000s in the club. I think it's just perfect. It's like the music that I grew up with and
Or
heard
like,
as a
or our
child.
like, yeah, those songs.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
also Toxic.
Toxic,
Toxic,
yeah.
That's
promiscuous, man eater.
Yeah, these are our
Yeah, these
favorites,
are-
I
yeah,
think.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that like there was one time when they played Harry Styles at Klubi,
Oh
and
yeah,
that was also its own.
Yeah, guys,
vibe.
we're going to Klubi
Oh,
quite
the other
often,
one.
so
Yeah, exactly.
come
if you
see
wanna,
come
yeah,
say hi,
yeah.
come dance with us.
Come get our autographs.
Yes,
Uh,
you can take maybe some pictures with us, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, but also one thing was yes,
Yeah.
yes. One thing was also when Måneskin was
Oh yeah, that
playing.
was fun.
What's the song? It's
I don't know something.
Actually,
The Eurovision
also-
song, anyways.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah, yeah.
slave one.
I wanna be.
Oh, can we? Okay, no.
No,
Yeah.
no.
That one, everyone knows that one.
Yeah, yeah. Everyone
but yeah.
knows the slave song.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Anyways,
She lagged.
Yeah, so one other
Fun
thing about
fact.
Vicky that if you don't know her, she often glitches out.
Yeah, it's her system. There's
Yeah.
something in
Yeah, it has
In
to
her-
restart.
in her
Yes,
chip. Yeah.
But fun fact about me that I actually, I think 3 years ago, I was mostly listening to metal music and I was a metal girl, like not a metal
Metalhead.
girl, but I
Headbanger.
mean, mostly it was like rock and metal.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely. It's like, well, it's either metal or drum and bass or like techno.
Oh,
or...
really? You think
Yeah,
so?
but because
I
it
mean,
has
to-
the same
like,
energy.
She didn't look like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I
you
didn't.
don't
I
have
was
to.
like, I look like a fairy also.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But when
you
you
don't have
when
to
you
look.
get to know
Yeah,
her,
then it's
then
like,
you
it makes
see
sense.
it.
But
Yeah.
also because you love
You know?
Coldplay, and I feel like that's so
Coldplay
you.
is my forever favorite band.
Yeah, I
I
feel
had
like
to
that's so
accept it. It took me years to accept that.
Why?
Because some of my friends they used to make fun of it. They were just like, "Oh, like how Coldplay can be your favorite band?" And they would be like,
But if
laughing.
it just is.
Of course,
that's
they
fine.
no, it was like very lovely, cute making fun of me thing. But I mean, I was like, oh damn, maybe that's a bit embarrassing to love Coldplay. But I think I've been listening to Coldplay since 11 or something, and they're still in my heart. And even though now I can listen to them like, I don't know, once in a few months, so which is pretty rare, but I still feel like they are very important, meaningful band. Yes.
That's nice.
Yeah.
What are your favorite bands?
I don't know if I have a favorite band. I mean,
You see, it's a personal question. I'm analyzing you.
No, I'm like, I think at some point AC/DC was my favorite band.
Ooh,
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I don't know if I have a favorite band now. That's maybe Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd is really good as well.
It's
Yeah.
good.
But they're not like bands that, you know,
Yeah.
as you see bands nowadays. It's a bit of a different.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess Pink Floyd would be up there. So
What about you,
what about
Daria?
Daria?
For me, it
Seven.
depends. Like I listen to so many bands that I can't even remember all of them. But of course, like Led Zeppelin will always be on the top for me, and Arctic Monkeys also will always be on top for me because I've just been listening to them so much since I was a teenager. So it brings like a sense of nostalgia to me. But I still really like them, and also Franz Ferdinand. I love.
yes,
It's like
love
also
it.
it's
Yeah.
our
Take me out.
and also The Strokes is like, I would say, probably my favorite band at the moment.
I
love
was
The
listening
Strokes.
to Franz Ferdinand yesterday.
I
was
love
like,
it.
Fire.
It just puts me in such a good mood. Also, The Strokes and Franz Ferdinand, they're quite similar. But yeah, just I've always loved like alternative rock or indie
Same, yeah,
rock.
yeah,
So I think that's always, sometimes I go back to that. But I listen
yeah.
to a lot of different things. Yeah, and I've also been listening to a lot of Sade, who I love. And just like I said, like 70s music, 70s like disco funky music I really have been enjoying.
I think like you know, the sort of last years of the Beatles also are up there for me. Like Abbey Road is such a good like album, I think. So I think that's also sort of there. Although I think a lot of their other stuff is just, you know, the same. But also,
that was what was popular then.
Yeah. Like our generation doesn't really see them as anything unique because everything after them has been, you know, like the same as they've made. Anyways, are we wrapping this?
We have
this
been.
up?
We recorded 2 episodes.
No, we
in a
didn't.
row.
It was last week.
Yeah. It was last week. And
so
that's
it's been
why
2 weeks.
We've been here for 2 weeks.
Yes.
We haven't moved from here, but yeah.
Okay,
We're very hungry.
Yes.
And it's been hours, so we're gonna wrap it up. And please let us know what music do you like.
Yes.
And also let us know what kind of topics you want to hear from us, because it was really nice to get your input.
Please.
And
Please do.
let us know, was it fun, hectic, or I don't know, bad or good?
Don't let us know if it was bad. No, just kidding. Constructive
seriously,
criticism
don't be
is
negative,
always
okay?
welcome.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone heard what you just said because you were speaking over each
I was just saying that constructive criticism is always welcome, and because
Yes.
I was like, well, let's
keep it to
not
yourself.
Be negative, because we are learning how to do that. And we are having fun. So, of course, we understand that it's not perfect, and it shouldn't be. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
But thank you, and we're gonna go dance the night away now.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. You wanna start doing what are you doing? You wanna start doing what are you doing?
It's Nikki, bitch.
Hot friend.
On Vicky Bye.
Jan, say hello. Jan, say hello. Tell me what I'm doing.
Pose.
Tell me what I'm doing.
Pose.
Stop. Are you like influencer?
Yeah.
Are you like influencer?
Yeah. I'm vlogging.